What is up, everybody? Welcome to the PHNX Rising post-game show brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I have to take that deep breath because I got a lot to say tonight, especially after that.
We've both got a lot to say tonight, Ramon.
And that's exactly why I went with that title. Is the season over? Because after tonight's performance, it's looking worse and worse by the week, Owen. So, Rising fall at Orange County on the road, 2-1. Not a great performance by Rising. We'll talk about the numbers and the performance in a minute. But when you were able to speak with Rick after the game, what did he have to say?
Yeah, let's just go ahead now and run the full post-game interview here with Rick Schwartz after that game. Okay, so Rick, where do you think it went wrong tonight?
Everywhere. We were horrible. I thought the first half performance was... we lacked energy. We lacked a lot of quality. Anytime we played the ball forward, we lost the ball. It was not good enough. I think when we gave up the goal, it was just a matter of time. The response was fantastic. There was desire, but right now they're not working for one another. But I do think that the guys that came on in the second half, they did make an impact. There was a good mentality. It's just too little, too late. It's kind of been the story up to now, but the season's not over.
What was the plan then behind starting Cozy on the wing?
He's one of our most dynamic players, works extremely hard. Luis has been doing pretty well in midfield, and I think Cozy, up until he got the red card, was probably our most effective player in midfield and causing turnovers, and he works well with Aiden and Kev. We just weren't, we needed to be a little bit more athletic. I think Greg, Santi, and Babu have all struggled in the final third. So that was kind of the choice.
Because you had JJ, second goal in 3 games.
Yeah.
No comforting game after a game like this, but 2 goals in 3 games. How do you feel is integrating with the team?
We don't give him the ball enough. We need to figure out how to play the ball to his feet and get the ball into him early. I thought when our center backs had the ball, they couldn't find him. There was a big gap between their midfielders and their back four, and we didn't show any quality to find the ball there.
So is that just the main reason then behind the fact that you took, I think, 3 shots all game?
I don't know the statistics, but I wouldn't say the main reason. We passed up a lot of shots. We passed the ball around. I think that, there at the end when it's a good example. We get into a really, really dangerous spot and we hit a cross that's like way too hard, waist high. It's impossible to score goals like this. We're putting ourselves in the worst situation possible. And when we could be shooting, we're too slow. We're not pulling the trigger quick enough. But it's not just about offense. Everything is. You can't talk about offense without talking about defense. You can't talk about any of that without speaking about transition. Right now, tonight, technically, we were very, very poor.
Yeah, so just one quick correction in there. Obviously, I mentioned in the question that Rising had only taken 3 shots. We were all looking at those stats up until very late, and they were showing 3 shots. They actually updated at the very end, so Rising took 5 shots. Not great. Also, only 1 on target, to be clear, so not great. But this is just... It was a dire performance. Let's be straight. It was dire. There was times when the talk here was when they took the lead, when Orange County took the lead, it was, okay, Orange County, why don't you just park the bus now? And I was looking at this game and thinking, I felt that Orange County were as likely, if not more likely, to find a 3rd goal than Rising were to find some kind of equalizer.
Yeah, I agree. The team came out fairly flat, just lifeless. And, especially after that goal, I even tweeted out, I'm like, it's going to be a big hill for them to climb. Fortunately, they were able to get back into it really quickly. But again, even that play itself was kind of a bit of luck because the Orange County defender was not able to close down properly on JJ Williams. And then after that, he gets the goal. But even after that, it's just, I thought maybe that's going to be the spark that kind of gets them going. The midfield, I don't know if they came out flat. I'm not sure if they have some sort of injuries, but Quinn did not look like himself today. Seijas was really sloppy on the ball, passing, covering the ground. And so it just, a lot of people just weren't playing up to their potential today. And it caused all this attentiveness on runs. The Olowski goals, both of them, they could have done better. We talked about how great the defense has been this past month, and then all of a sudden it just goes to shambles today. So what was what was going on there as well. So it's a lot of questions after tonight, and that's why I went with, is the season over? Or can they pick it up in the last 10 games and sneak into the playoffs? And notice that I'm saying sneak, because they're not going any higher than 6 or 7 the way that they're playing.
Absolutely not. Look, you said that you were wondering if the midfield were flat earlier. I'd use another word. I'd say anonymous. I felt that they were just completely out of that game. There were times where I was just looking at it. You look down on the field and you see the space that is being left in the middle of the park, and the way that Orange County were exploiting that. Just it just wasn't good enough. And look, we can talk about the defense. At the end of the day, we know the danger that some of these guys can cause. Milanowski, with what was effectively a complete solo effort, the way that he got that first goal, just phenomenal goal. Take nothing away from him, fantastic. But defensively, you got to be prepared for that. This is the guy who's player of the month this past month. Everyone knows what he's capable of. So why aren't you prepared for that?
Yeah. No,
and not only that, but we saw what he can do. We saw what he can do in the last game when Rising played against Orange County. So again, why is there no preparation for that?
Exactly. The second goal really upset me. No one was tracking with him. Basically, I mean, it was a great goal. To give him his credit, but the fact of the matter was that Joey Calistri missed him. Joe Farrell missed him as well. Wide open, and a player of that quality, like you're saying, he has all the accolades that you could give out to a player in the USL, and it's you got to do better than that. It's like, what's the point of the whole week if you're gonna just let him do what he wants? Which I'm sure over the week the coaching staff said, hey, Losky is the guy you got to track. He's going to be making those runs. He's going to want to be involved in plays. And you saw it several times tonight. Every time he got the ball, he's looking to play those 1-2s and make the cut down the middle, try to get open and get the ball. And it works. And that's what upset me, is that the defense was not ready for this. And so it just makes you question what's really going on behind the scenes, and why aren't the players prepared when they face players like that. So it's rough. You did talk about the numbers earlier. Let's take a look at those today, because they were dire. But let's take a quick look by the numbers. Of course, Orange County got those 2 goals. Rising got 1 thanks to JJ Williams. 56% possession for Orange County, 44 for Rising. 13 shots for Orange County. They got the lead there. 5 for Rising. And shots on target. Owen, can you remind me how many goals Orange County scored today?
2.
And they had 2 shots on target. That's incredible.
Yeah.
They made the most out of their opportunities.
Well, every shot on target in this game ended up in the back of the net.
Exactly. And so if we look at the total amount of the shots, and that's what we were kind of discussing a little bit earlier, was that Rising did not have, at least from our point of view at the end of the second half, they had basically 1 shot on target. The numbers readjusted, and they ended up with a few more. But nonetheless, they just look flat. They look disinterested in getting the W tonight. And it's hard to say, oh, well, Rising will pick it up. And Rising, was able to at least kind of hang for a little bit when
against
during
the team bottom of the conference. Yeah,
exactly. But you see this Rising team, and you wonder, okay, are they going to have that desire? Do they have that fire to come back once they're down 2-1? And then I look over to my second screen that I have here, and I'm seeing El Paso come back from 3-0 against Colorado and ultimately walk away with the draw. But that shows you that those players care, that they want to compete, that they're out there fighting for their playoffs lives. And I don't see that same passion on the Rising side. So it just tells you what kind of team is out there on the field right now.
They've given up, utterly given up, is what I feel like we're watching. We are watching a team that feels in many ways as though it has given up on even making the playoffs this year, quite frankly. Seriously, look at that team, El Paso team that came back and actually showed some desire today. That's Rising's next game, by the way. Got to go away from home and play against them. If they lose that game, that could be disastrous in some ways for Rising, because that's letting another team just kind of keep edging further and further and further away. It's just not good enough. It isn't good enough. These performances, I just am completely at a loss at the moment as to what at the moment, where's the direction? I don't see any.
Yeah, and it's rough. And we cover this team week in and week out, and it's tough, man, because at this point, like I see a lot of people here. Bonnie, for example, said she's saying that she's lost all hope that Rising's going to be able to make the playoffs, and I kind of feel the same way as well, because week in and week out we see these performances. Yes, they were unbeaten. Yes, they got the 4-0 victory, but we always saw those kind of cracks in the team structure where we really didn't know if Rising was going to be able to hang to those performances. And tonight they didn't. They played Orange County again, one of the worst teams in the Western Conference, and they just came out flat. I just don't understand it. I don't know why this team continues to have these performances. And yes, we can blame Rick, but I feel like it's also on the players. You know, it's their performance tonight was not desired. I know you'll probably have some thoughts on Rick, and I do as well, but the lineup was not the best. I'm not sure why Koza was starting. Once Babu came in, you felt like the team was playing a lot better, more cohesiveness. He was able to get by his defenders, Arturo as well. So a lot of questions tonight, and hopefully we get answers to them.
The problem is that we have had a lot of questions coming out of every game this season. It feels like it's the same again and again and again, and it's just getting tiring. It's getting tiring to get to this point whereby, look, it feels harsh. It feels harsh sitting here and being, oh well, Orange County, bad team, right? And I'm sure I'll get some stick from some of their boys around here if I'm out here very audibly saying that. But at the end of the day, there are winnable games. If you think you are a playoff team, or you think that you are going to try and make yourself look like the Phoenix Rising of old, that you have any real claim to that, you come here and get a win today.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It wasn't even like a scrappy underdog gets the win kind of game. It wasn't that at all. It's not like Rising dominated, and it just felt like the bounce wasn't there. Orange County deserved to win this match. Yeah. And that's where the problem is.
And we've seen Rising dominate games. They have 25, 30 shots at least, and today they're only able to muster that low amount of that. So exactly, like that's what happened tonight. It's unbearable. So if you're looking at the standings now, Rising, they're currently.
Please don't.
Yeah, take a look. Rising in ninth place, 29 points. I know there's games tomorrow, but just looking at the standings right now, RGV fall down to 13th place. I'm looking at the USL Championship website here. 7 points separate 7th place, which is Las Vegas, and RGV, which they're in 13th place. So the West is going to be crazy these last 10 games. It's, Rising are going to have a little bit of a break there, but then they face El Paso, the team that's in 6th place. This is going to be a battle. If you want to show the fans, if you want to show yourselves as players and yourself as the coaching staff, this is what's going to determine these last 10 games. How bad do you want it? The season has not turned out great. How bad do you want to be in the playoffs? Because all these teams, they're fighting, they're drawing, they're getting these victories. No one's out yet. That's basically it. In the Western Conference, no one's out yet, at least at the bottom half of the table, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
Look, the only thing I'll say, though, is you look at these performances, and people have talked about the turnaround. The defense did turn around indeed. Yes, I understand that. Not tonight. Tonight, they looked out of shape. There were times where they were just caught sleeping when they, quite frankly, should not have been caught sleeping. But there had been somewhat of a turnaround in the defense. There hadn't been a turnaround in the attack. I feel that we have seen nothing really to convince me at this stage of the season that Phoenix Rising deserves a playoff spot based on what they have been producing. That's the reality of the situation. It's just poor. It's dire, and ultimately this team is exactly where it deserves to be in the table based on their performances. Yeah,
not good at all. Owen, let's take a quick break and talk about our friends at OGs. OGs, if you guys have not heard of the sweepstakes, you guys want to get in this, try take a break from all this stuff that's going on with Rising and join the Flavoring Life sweepstakes sponsored by OGs. If you do win, you will be getting 3 bags of OGs gummies, including orange creamsicle and tropical flavors, an OGs hat, PHNX t-shirt, and a PHNX annual membership. And you get to look like Derek right there in that picture that's on your screen. So big old smile.
He looks very happy in that picture, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's how I thought I was
contrast. It's quite the contrast from what we're looking like right now, isn't it, Ramon?
Exactly. That's how I thought I was going to look after tonight. But Apparently not. But yeah, go ahead and join the sweepstakes. You can sign up at gophnx.com or click the link in our show notes. You can also check out OGs at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. And you can also find their products at your local dispensary. And remember, guys, you must be 21 years or older to purchase. All right, Owen. What else do you want to talk about? I mean, I thought the second half.
I'm just giving you a stare of just.
I thought you were just looking into the void.
I don't have anything to say. I am looking into the void. Yeah, I'm tossing it over to you because I'm looking into the void. It's what we've been watching.
Let's look at some comments here because you guys are entertaining over here in the comment section. Let's take a quick look. Scott wants Rising to be relegated to MLS Next, not even Next Pro, which is Next, which is the
Next. Just the kids academy level. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
What else have we got in here? Shout out to Durden in here with they are the perfect sponsor. Oh geez, Rising is playing tonight. Oh geez, what's Rick's excuse this time?
The only thing is that you don't get to look at Eric. Yeah. Let's look at Scott here. Rick has systematically destroyed players' confidence, sucking energy from chemistry, not focused on basic skills, not correcting tactical deficiencies, etc., etc., etc. I agree with some of that. Let's see. So Eric has a good question for you, Owen. There's 10 games left. I know I may be a little bit over dramatic, but Eric is saying, is the season really over?
Oh, is the season really over? On paper, no, but it feels like it, doesn't it? It feels like team is the good that's happened in the past couple of weeks in terms of fixing the defense is becoming undone. The team was exposed tonight in the way that if the defense doesn't work, the attack isn't working either. Yeah. And hence, we're still just as far away from this idea of a complete package that's going to make the playoffs. So it's concerning. It's concerning. I don't know. A lot of people in our chat are saying, yes, they think that this season is over. They're ready to
10
write
games,
it off right now.
30 points. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to get to 30, but what's realistic? How many do you need to get into the playoffs? 20? 22? It's tough.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Not sure off the top of my head.
But yeah, like you were saying earlier, they're going to take a little bit of a break. August 27 is going to be the next game for Rising. They're going to travel to El Paso. El Paso, again, a great performance tonight. There was a little bit of controversy in the last few minutes. If you guys weren't able to catch the highlights, be sure that you do. Let us know your thoughts on that. But after El Paso, you go against RGV, Colorado, Oakland, San Diego. That 3-game stretch is going to be rough. Colorado, Oakland, San Diego. At that point, you're pretty much going to know where you're at and see if the season is really over. But, the reason I'm saying it is because week in and week out, you guys are here with us every Friday, every Saturday. We don't see the change. We talk about you, Owen and myself and you guys, we keep track of what's going on with Rising every single week. We do not see the change, whether it's on the field, whether it's on the sidelines. And it's a little bit frustrating. It's disappointing that the fact that these, this team comes out and we know that they have the potential to win. And that's the frustrating part. They just did not show it on the field. You get 4 straight draws. Okay, they're improving. They're not improving. They're not getting victories. They're not really showing what they're capable of. And, this week we heard it. Hey, we struggled against last week against Light. There wasn't off-the-ball movement. This is what we're going to practice this week. That's what Rick said during the week in his press conference. Did we see any of that this week? I did not see that. The one goal.
We saw a flat performance. Exactly. We saw a toothless performance.
Exactly. Toothless, uninspired, lifeless. It's not. It's tough. It's tough, man. And people can get upset, and we get messages. Hey guys, you guys are being too rough on Rising. We're not. We're telling you how it is. And if you're getting upset, it's because you probably know it's the truth. That's the way I'm going to put it. I always try to be positive, but it's frustrating, honestly. So anyway, enough rant.
Enough ranting. Okay. Right. Should we talk a little bit about some of the games tomorrow then, just quickly?
Yeah. Let's take a quick look. All right. Tomorrow, 1 minute up. Let's see. John wants to coach. If you want to be an assistant, let me know if you need one. Devin has given up. Ramon has been broken. Yes, Pat. I'm really upset. I don't know if you can tell that. I don't have any beer in the house either, so I can't Can't chill.
The good news is, at least, as soon as I get out of here, I got a hotel bar that's open until midnight. So maybe that'll
That'll
help.
up.
Of course, we mentioned these on the show yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, I'm losing track of days. This Friday game is really messing with my head. But some big games coming up, at least in the East. Obviously, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Memphis 901, and Lou City against Tampa Bay. In terms of important stuff out west, Birmingham Legion are hosting San Diego, so that could have an impact on that kind of chase for the top of the Western Conference. The other game there that impacts the top of the Western Conference, San Antonio against Vegas Lights, which is, of course, also pretty important from a Rising perspective as we look at it and try and think, can Vegas start to pull away? We already know that it's a bit of an uphill battle. Vegas have the tiebreaker over Phoenix Rising. But then it comes down to, okay, if they start pulling away now, things are going to get very difficult very, very quickly. And they're already very difficult. It could get a lot worse. But I'm sure, I don't know, what would your tips for those be, Ramon? What tips have you got in those games?
I mean, like I said earlier, every team in the bottom half of the Western Conference is basically able to get into the playoffs. So every game that's not Rising, that's anywhere near them, Rising has to keep an eye out. And I encourage you guys to keep an eye out as well, because it can affect the season. I think Rising has caught a lot of breaks so far with a lot of these teams either losing or drawing and not getting those 3 points. And I think that's what's kind of kept them in the running, not necessarily their play. So, with this loss tonight and the fact that there's a lot of teams playing tomorrow, it could look a lot different come Monday. So, and again, Rising will be going on that 2-week break, facing El Paso, a team that's ahead of them in the standings. So at that point, it's going to be different. And you just got to be prepared to, you might be down 6-7 points, away from the last spot. So we'll see.
If you want a betting tip for tomorrow, I'll give you this one. San Diego Loyal at plus 250. Away to Birmingham Legion.
Take it. All right, now that we're speaking about betting, let's talk about our friends at DraftKings. But before we do that, let's talk about our DraftKings King of the Game. I don't know if people will agree with me, but I went with J.J. Williams. He scored the goal tonight, 96 minutes played, 18 touches. Oh, look at that picture. That's so cute. Look at that. Accurate passes, 5 out of 9 tonight, 56%. So yeah, JJ Williams, I really do enjoy watching him play. Honestly, I think he's the perfect number 9 for Rising. He showed what he has in the box. Didn't have a lot of time on that ball, but he was still able to keep his composure and put it in the back of the net. So yeah, JJ Williams, DraftKings King of the Game for tonight's game.
Well, he is what you want in a striker, isn't he? He gets the ball in the area and he creates something out of a half chance. The problem is that, unfortunately, there's just not enough around him. Rick said it himself in the post game. They're just not getting the ball to him enough, and that's where the problem really lies.
True, for sure. Speaking of DraftKings, guys, if you guys have not downloaded the app yet, you can do so now. And when you use promo code PHNX, when you make your first deposit, you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. And again, that's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, let's take a look at some more comments. Elizabeth saying you should have given the crown to the baby. Maybe 2 crowns, one for the baby.
There's quite a few people saying that in the chat there. Yeah, it's.
We'll fix it.
Dear.
Oh dear. Let's see what we got here. Rising Nation says Rick is not going anywhere. Definitely not before the end of the season. We are stuck with Rick. Brandon says sin corazón, heartless, no desire to compete. Eric says looking forward, and the way we are playing right now, I'm actually more excited to go to the NAU versus ASU games in the next Rising match. Wow, that's great. I mean, football, yeah, it was. There you go. Look at that.
There we go. The baby now has the crown.
All right. Look, producer Emma coming in clutch. All right. I want to see those comments saying thank you, because she did that really quickly. Devin says the baby would have been a key role to scoring a goal tonight. Maybe, yeah. BJ says hard to pick King when no one played like one. It was tough.
Ooh. And then Scott in there with play guys that want to play.
I mean, the injury report today said all players available.
You know what I'll say? And this is serious now. For players that have been completely, utterly left out of the squad lately, I want to know what we're seeing on the field that justifies the fact that people are out of the question. we keep saying it, don't we? We keep saying where exactly is Ryan Flood. I'm intrigued to see it because if his training performances are keeping him out, how bad must they be? That's what Rick wants to tell us. If Rick wants to tell us about his training performances, how bad must they be that he's not getting in when the team right now? I mean, look, Ryan has played as a winger in the past, much like Babu's being experimented now as a guy who's
and
played
Jose
as
as
a winger
well.
in his past. Yeah, so the
Why
fact
not
that he's
Ryan?
not in the 18 ever is it gets question marks for me. Big question marks.
And there's
Big
no clear
question
answers either, and that's the frustrating part because he's obviously not there for a reason. But and so I'm sure he's not. Rick is not going to come out and say, well, I just don't want him to be part of the team. But it's frustrating when you have that team outside, exactly like you're saying. You have that team playing, and you have players like Ryan Flood who have shown in the past that they can't contribute to a team. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So. All right, y'all. I know we're negative Nancy's today, but man, this one stung a little bit more than usual. So
it was just bad. That was the thing. It was such a bad performance against the team that it's not Memphis. It's not Tampa Bay, whereby the performance might be atrocious and you turn around and say, oh, but it came against one of the top teams in the league. Yes, of course, Orange County are the defending champions, but this season they haven't looked like it. And the problem is that Rising did make them look like it at times tonight.
Yep. Tyler, thank you for the crown on the baby. The baby is the best person. Yeah, no, she's livening easing the mood today for sure. Yeah, baby is the winner. Yeah, we'll make sure to tell JJ about that because it's very popular today. All right, Owen. So yeah, like we talked about, Rising will be going on a little bit of a break. So we'll still be here continuing coverage. We'll let you know on our schedule regarding the next 2 weeks with our shows, but I do appreciate everybody being part of the chat and being so interactive during the game on Twitter. Always appreciate that. And if you haven't yet, make sure to follow us there on Twitter, PHNX__rising, and at our personal accounts.
Double the underscores, double the number of shots that Rising took on target tonight.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna go with the Alosky one, but no, okay. But yeah, if you do want to follow us on our personal accounts, they're listed below. Nachito Chavez 10 on mine, and then which one's theirs? They took it away as
OJ Evans 18.
There you go. All right, y'all. We're gonna call it a night. Owen's gonna look for some beer. I will do the same. I hope you guys go to find some as well, preferably some Four Peaks. If you guys haven't gotten that, make sure to check it out. But yeah, we will see you on the next one. Shout out to Devin. Thank you so much, Eric, Jose, Vincent, Bonnie, and she's wishing you a safe trip home, Owen. So make sure to do that. All right, y'all. We're gonna call it a night
tomorrow, guys.
All right, we'll see you back in the valley. And that's it for us. Thank you to our producer Emma as well for helping us out tonight. We will be back, I believe, Tuesday for our next show. Until then, stay well, be safe, and we'll see you later. Take care.